Hey there, guys. Welcome back. Uh, I I know everybody's got to be getting sick of hearing this. I know I'm kind of getting sick of ranting about but I mean, we all know the story of the Arizona Coyotes trying to get approval to play in a 5,000 seat arena at Arizona State University. Now, that all ends up being a moot point if they don't get the approval from Tempe. It will be a moot point. You can't sign that agreement unless you get the arena deal in place. I suppose before I go on, anyone new, welcome. If you haven't seen any one of my videos, you'll hear a little bit of a rant here. If you like that stuff, awesome. Hopefully you do. If you like them, hit the subscribe button. I would gladly appreciate it. And what do you say? Let's let me get a little more into this little rant here, because I was listening to the Steve Dangle podcast, and they talked about this, and Steve went on a nice big rant, and he was looking up little dinky teams, like little Central Hockey League teams that have more capacity than this arena that the Coyotes are trying to play in. Now, I was also hearing too that it's not going to be 5,000. It's not going to be a 5,000 seat capacity, because if they get approved to play there for 3 to 4 years, they have to shell out what is upwards of, from what I've heard, $50 million. $50 million for a team that really has no money, because they can't afford to pay their flipping rent on Gila River. How are you going to afford $50 million to do these upgrades at Arizona State? That, I mean, you'd have to build locker rooms. You'd have to make it NHL. You'd have to have it to NHL standards. So you're talking about having to probably wipe out. You'll have to take out seats, because you got to build locker rooms, because apparently they can't use the college locker rooms because they're not NHL standard. So you got to do all that, and it got me thinking. I was like, I live here in Minnesota, grew up in North Dakota, and I thought, I want to see. You're talking about having an NHL hockey team playing in an arena that you'll be lucky if it seats 3,000 fans. I wanted to look up some of the other college hockey venues that I'm familiar with around here. Excuse me. And Mariucci Arena on the University of Minnesota campus, where the Golden Gophers play, the capacity of their hockey arena is 10,000. You can fit 10,000 fans in that arena. Ralph Engelstad Arena in Grand Forks, North Dakota has a capacity of 11,640. Even the hockey rink at St. Cloud State has a capacity of 6,000, which is more than Arizona State. I don't get it. And and they talk too about how you're not going to get corporate sponsorships playing in this arena. The owner's going to lose a boatload of money, like he hasn't already. I just And I know there's hockey fans in Arizona. Before the Arizona Coyotes came there, you didn't have youth hockey in Arizona. Youth hockey in Arizona wasn't a thing. Austin Matthews, the great Austin Matthews, is playing in the NHL. Got into youth hockey because the Arizona Coyotes were there in Arizona. They were his favorite team growing up. But it's... I mean, this is literally about as low as you can go. And honestly, I have never seen this. The Arizona Coyotes are the only team that I have ever seen the NHL bend over backwards to keep. They didn't put this much effort to keep them in Winnipeg when they were going through similar situations. They didn't put this much effort to keep to make sure the Hartford Whalers stayed in Hartford. The Quebec Nordiques stayed in Quebec. Why, and you talk about corporate sponsorships. Jeremy Jacobs, the owner of the Boston Bruins, talks about, why can't we have a team in Quebec? Oh, because you can't get corporate sponsorships. You can't get corporate sponsorships in Quebec. How can you say that when you have the Arizona Coyotes there? What corporate sponsorships are these guys going to get in a 5,000-seat college rink? There's some high schools in Minnesota, high school arenas that have a bigger capacity than that. You talk about corporate sponsorships. What the hell corporate sponsorships are these guys going to have? How can you say that, Quebec is too small of a market, you're not going to get corporate sponsorships in Quebec when you have the Arizona Coyotes in the NHL? How can you justify that statement? Honestly. And you're talking 3 to 4 years, you're going to spend all this money. Again, this is a team, you have no money. This team is I feel so bad for the true blue hockey fans in Arizona who love this team. I feel so bad for them. But it's over. Just done. Pack them up. Get them the hell out of there. There's no future in Arizona for this team. If the deal in Tempe gets turned down, what are you going to do? Where are they going to go? You talk about, the NHL talks about, again, the corporate sponsorships, Quebec's too small of a market. You can take the Arizona Coyotes. You can just pick them up and boop, right there in Quebec, in the Videotron Center. You don't have to monkey around with anything, trying to dick around with buildings or anything. You can just take that team, pick them up, put them right there. It's what Atlanta did. Atlanta was able to do that. They didn't have a place to play. They lost the building. The league took them from the Eastern Conference, picked them up, boop, put them right there at MTS Center up in Winnipeg, and off they went. They spent 1 year in the Eastern Conference as Winnipeg, and then they transferred over to the West. I understand. You can't, there's teams in the East that are not going to want to move back to the West. But this team, you can just pick them right up and put them right there in the Videotron Center in Quebec and bam, and go right in and keep going. But I don't like doing this. This is just, and like Steve Dangle said in his podcast, there are a lot of fans in Arizona that love this team, but where you have no place to sit. Where are you going to sit? You have no building. You have no place to play. After this season, you have no building. Where are you going to go? I mean, the city of Tempe is, they're taking their sweet old time about trying to figure this out. But I mean, where are you going to go? You're going to play in a 5,000 seat arena? I mean, I'm sorry. That's just I mean, seriously? And the fact that, yeah, it's 5,000 seat, it's a 5,000 seat arena now, but to make that building NHL compliant, you're going to lose probably about 1,500 of those seats, because you got to build locker rooms. You've got to do some things, in the arena to make that NHL compatible, I guess, or NHL up to the NHL standards. And the fact that these are renovations, you talk upwards of $50 million that they'd have to put in to do this. $50 million for the. This is a team they can't even pay the rent on Gila River. They're going to put $50 million into this? How? With what? This team is just. I mean, when I did the video of talking about, the unstable ownership that they've had, even dating back to their last few years in Winnipeg. Yeah, they were losing money in Winnipeg. Not like this. This is a franchise. Number one, it is the most horribly run franchise in all sports. This team is just, it is horribly ran from top to bottom. I mean, what? I don't know. But again, I've never seen Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, and the NHL. They have never gone to this length to save a franchise like the Arizona Coyotes and make sure they stay in Arizona. I mean, again, you didn't see them bend over backwards like this to save the Quebec Nordiques. You didn't see them bend over backwards to save the original Winnipeg Jets. How about the Hartford Whalers? You didn't see them bend over backwards to make sure that they stay in Hartford. I mean, seriously. But they are just fine with one of their franchises playing in a 5,000 seat building. Which, after the renovations, will be less than 5,000 seats. I have never seen a franchise that has been this big of an absolute cluster, F as this. I have never seen any other franchise that has been this poorly ran. I mean, think of it this way. Do a little comparison here. Say the Minnesota Wild lost their lease with the XL Energy Center. And they were without a building to play. And they tried to arrange something to play out of Mariucci Arena. Do you really think the NHL would step forward and say, yeah, go ahead, play out of Mariucci Arena? Not a chance. There's no way they would do that. Because they would say, it's not NHL, it's not up to the NHL, it's not up to our NHL standards. We got to get you out of there. Guaranteed they would do that if the Wild lost their lease at the XL Center. They would not let the Minnesota Wild play at Mariucci Arena. Even if the University of Minnesota were accommodating and said, yeah, absolutely. The NHL, there's no way. There's no way the NHL would step in there and say, no, you can't do that. They would step in immediately and say, you can't do that. But the Arizona Coyotes, 5,000 seats, a 5,000 seat building. Sure, go ahead. Yeah, we'll just put you right there. Can't go to Quebec because you get no corporate sponsorships and it's too small of a market. What the hell corporate sponsorships are you going to get with Arizona? With the Arizona Coyotes in the NHL? What corporate sponsorships are you getting there? I mean, how can you say that Quebec can't get corporate sponsors when you have the Arizona Coyotes in the NHL? I'm sorry for ranting like that, like this, but I mean, when you have college hockey, I mean, Steve Dangle was looking up, some of these smaller hockey leagues, even some of the teams in the Canadian hockey leagues, like the London Knights and the Halifax Mooseheads and teams like that in the Quebec Major Junior League have bigger capacities. A couple of the college hockey arenas in Minnesota and North Dakota have a bigger capacity. Even St. Cloud State has more seating. They have at least 6,000. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand the reason. I mean, again, I feel bad. I feel horribly for the people in Arizona that truly love this team. I get it. But I mean, this is a laughing stock to me. These guys, the Coyotes, are an absolute laughing stock. I mean, and how? I mean, what are you gonna pay these? How are you gonna pay for all this? You're gonna pledge $1 billion to build a stadium in Tempe. When Tempe is looking at their track record in Glendale, there's a reason why they have gotten booted out of Gila River. You don't think Tempe's looking at that? Tempe's got to be looking at that saying, why would we want to go through that? And now the NHL, they're fine with letting them play out of a 5,000 seat arena, which, by the way, that still all hinges on the Tempe deal, if Tempe approves it or not. It's frustrating. And it's got to be frustrating for markets like Quebec when they go and say, a team can't work in Quebec. It's too small of a market and they can't get corporate sponsorships. Yet you have the Arizona Coyotes in the league. Really? Tell me how Quebec can't work. I understand that if they move, the league is going to be looking at Houston. Houston will be number one on their list. Houston or Kansas City. They want to look to the bigger markets to put this team if they move them. But you could pick this team up. You could pick them up, put them right there in Quebec in the Videotron Center, and off they go. You got a building. You've got fans that will love that team. A team that will be supported, and you won't have to worry. It's a ready-made building. I mean, no arena drama, nothing. A ready-made building. All you need is a team to pick up and stick there. You can do that with the Coyotes real easy. Just pick them up, drop them in Quebec, and off they go. No arena drama, nothing. No trying to work out a deal in Houston to maybe to maybe share their arena with the Houston Rockets, or or whatever the building is in Kansas City, which, I mean, I'm not sure how big of a building that is, but I think it's time. It's gotten to that point. Just scrap it. Just done. Get them the hell out of there. It can't work. They've tried for 26 years. It won't work in Arizona. It just won't. I don't know. This is just crazy. And, I'm sorry for, going on and ranting like this again, but I mean, the fact that I went and looked at some college hockey rinks that, other college hockey rinks that are double the size of Arizona State. And the NHL, and like I said, the NHL would never, they'd never allow the Minnesota Wild to try and play out of Mariucci Arena, or even go down to St. Cloud State and play out of their arena. There's no way. And you're telling me the Coyotes are going to put forth $50 million? Where are they going to get Where are they going to get the $50 million from? They can't pay their freaking lease. They can't pay the lease and the taxes in Glendale. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I went on long enough about that. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I know there's a few of my subscribers that are big diehard Coyote fans, and that's awesome. But there's not much lower the team that this team can go, honestly. But let me know your guys' thoughts. And do you guys think it's time to get this team up and out of there? Especially if Tempe says, I think it's about time. Let me know your guys' thoughts. If there's anybody new that's just coming on through, happen to come across one of the videos, hopefully you like them. Hopefully you tune into them. If you like them enough, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you be a part of the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.